Okay, let's try that. I probably want to start a new chat with ChatGPT just in case, so it doesn't feed off of what I've said before. Daddy's home, call for me, and I know you're waiting. Your daddy's home. Hey, baby. You know what? I also had to rate it. I haven't actually had a voice crack in those two calls. So, proud of myself on that. All right, let's get into it. Start call.
Hello, Bright Spark Cleaning Services.
Hi there. I'll be honest with you. This is a cold call. Give me 30 seconds, and if it's not for you, tell me to buzz off, and I'll get out of your way. Fair enough?
All right, go on then. You've got 30 seconds. Make it quick, please.
I appreciate it. So, my name is Michael. I work with cleaning companies like yours to make sure no lead ever slips through the cracks when mid job or unavailable. Can I just ask, how do you currently handle follow ups?
To be honest, we already get back to people pretty quickly. We keep a system in place so we don't lose track of them. What exactly are you offering?
Out of curiosity, how many inquiries would you say you take in a typical week? Is it like a handful or is it more than that?
It's usually a handful, maybe 5 to 10 a week, depending. But honestly, we've had a lot of calls like this before, so I'm cautious.
That's fine. In terms of what you said regarding your system, could you mind running through what system you use?
Yeah, of course. So it's essentially a follow up automation tool that sends reminders and keeps track of every lead so nothing falls through. But if you want, I can just send you more details by email.
Yeah, that's fine. With your system, does that just handle this job for you while you're mid-job or unavailable?
Exactly. Yeah. It basically steps in if we miss a call or we're tied up, so no lead is left hanging. But like I said, I can send the specifics via email if that's easier.
Yeah, that's fine. You can send it via email, and I'll just send my email after this call. So if you are interested, you could just let me know. Is that fine?
Yeah, that's fine. I'll look out for your email, and if I think it's something we can use, I'll get back to you. I've got to run now, though, so I'll talk to you later.
All right, bye. End call.
Overall rating 5 out of 10. The call kept moving, but it didn't
Jeez.
create a strong reason for me to engage further. Opener, it was direct, which was good, but a bit rushed. You didn't disarm me, I was still guarded. Tone and delivery pacing was okay, but it felt a bit transactional. You didn't leave much space for me to ask questions. Diagnostic questions, you asked one about how many inquiries we get, but it felt a bit forced and not fully tied to my situation. You didn't really probe beyond that. Transition to pitch, it was a bit abrupt. After the question about inquiries, you jumped straight into automation without a real bridge. The pitch, it was something clear, but it was a bit abstract. I didn't get a concrete benefit tied to my business yet. The close, it was low pressure, which was good, but it also lacked a strong call to action or a sense of urgency. Objection handling, you stayed calm, which was fine, but you didn't dig deeper when I raised that I get a lot of calls. You didn't really re engage me. Talk to listen ratio, mostly balanced, but you did talk a bit more than you listened. Let me express more before you moved on. Filler words, minimal, which was good. What worked well, you were upfront with the cold call and you gave me a clear 30-second window. The offer of email follow up was a good fallback. You also stayed calm when I pushed back. Top 3 things to improve. First, slow down a bit and create a smoother transition from questions to your pitch. Tie your solution more directly to my business's pain points. Probe deeper when I raise objections, don't just let them slide.
So how could I have probed deeper if you already said you had a system?
That's a good point. If I already said I have a system, you could probe by asking if there are any gaps in it. For example, you might say, I get that you have a system. Are there times when something still falls through, or is there a bottleneck? That invites me to reflect on any weaknesses, which keeps the conversation open.
And then what if you say there are no gaps or there are no bottlenecks? What do I say after?
If I say there are no gaps, you can pivot by asking how scalable the system is. Like, that's great, but if your volume doubles or triples, how would it handle that? That keeps the conversation forward looking and gets me thinking about longer term needs.
Okay, that's fine.
If anything else comes up, feel free to let me know. Just be mindful to keep the flow logical and all.
Well, that was disastrous. 5 out of 10. Immediately they said Erda's system, my mind went blank. I was like, okay, I did not practice for that. Yeah, so I was stuck, boy. Okay, let's give it one more try. I'm trying to get to that 8. Let's give it one more try. Let's see how it goes. Hopefully, I don't get thrown a curveball like that again. But I do have a script for objection handling here that says if they talk about system. I just asked, I just say a lot of owners I speak to have a similar setup. The bit that usually causes problems is response speed. So if a lead comes in at 8 p.m. on the Friday or during a job on a Tuesday morning, how quickly does your person typically get back to them or your system? Unlike ChatGPT Seconds, you mentioned what if your volume doubles or triples? How would you handle it? So I could use these as well. Okay, let's give it one more go. So let's get that prompt in there again. You're gonna give my nothing away. Where do I start, baby? I don't know. But I'm sure. How'd you get down here? Heaven moans. Another angel falls, falling onto me. Are we ready? Ooh, yeah. All right, let's get this going. Start call.
Hello, Bright Homes Cleaning Services.
Hi there. I'll be honest with you. This is a cold call. Give me 30 seconds, and if it's not for you, tell me to buzz off, and I'll get out of your way. Fair enough?
All right, go on then. You've got 30 seconds, but I'm quite busy at the moment, so make it quick.
I appreciate it. I work with cleaning companies like yours to make sure no lead ever slips through the cracks when mid job or unavailable. Can I just ask, how do you currently handle follow ups?
We already get back to people pretty quickly, so I'm not sure we have a big gap there. What exactly do you mean by follow ups?
So when a lead puts a request in as, let's say, odd hours of the day, maybe 8 p.m. or on a weekend, how do you tend to then reply to them? How often does that happen? And how often do you tend to lose leads because you're busy or you're on the job?
To be honest, we mostly handle inquiries during business hours, so after 6 or on weekends it does slip a bit. I don't know that we lose too many, but we don't always catch them as fast.
So wouldn't you consider that a gap then? Because if you do have a request coming in at those times, if they don't get a reply, then they might just end up going to a different company then.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, we do see a few drop offs if it's late in the evening or on a Sunday, but I'm a bit skeptical. I've had a lot of calls like this before, so I need to know what's different here.
So what I would say was different is with my system, it's entirely just helps you to get those leads on track. It helps you to document them and process them, and also gives you a notification that you have received a lead, and also to the lead that they have got their lead sent in and they're gonna be with them shortly or at particular hours of the day, so it doesn't get lost.
I see. Okay. I mean, we've already got a CRM system, so we're not completely lost on that front. Can you just send me an email with a bit more detail so I can review it when I've got time?
I can send an email. I think what could work better for you, just so you're not wasting your time, is we could have a 15-minute screen share. Maybe not today, could be on Friday at 5 p.m. if that sounds good for you. And I could just walk you through how the system works. Is that fine?
I mean, I do have a lot on Friday at 5 p.m. I don't think I can commit to that right now. Could you just send me a quick summary, and if it looks promising, I'll get back to you?
All right, can do. I will send you an email to a calendar link. So anytime that you can book in, that'll be fine. So it'll be 15 minutes. Again, if you've got a different day that you think could be better for you, what times do you tend to be less busy in the week?
Usually, midweek mornings are a bit quieter, so something like Wednesday around 10 a.m. might work better. If not, I'll check your email when it comes through.
All right, I'll just put in Wednesday at 10 a.m. just as a it may be or in case. But if you have a different date, we could book that in through the email if that's fine.
Yeah, that sounds good. I'll keep an eye out for your email and we'll confirm from there. Thanks.
All right, amazing. You have an amazing rest of your day.
You too. Take care, and I'll be in touch once I've sent that over.
End call.
Overall rating 6 out of 10. You kept the conversation polite, but you didn't fully break through the initial resistance. Opener, it was okay, you were upfront, but it felt a bit rushed. You didn't fully disarm the initial skepticism. Tone and delivery, you had a decent pace, but a few silences felt a bit awkward. Keep your momentum up. Diagnostic questions. The questions were natural, but you could have probed a bit deeper. You didn't fully challenge their we get back quickly objection. Transition to pitch, it was slightly abrupt. You jumped straight into the value prop without softening the move. The pitch, it was fairly clear, but you lingered on features without tying them back to their specific pain. The close, it was polite, but a bit hesitant. You didn't fully create urgency or a strong next step. Objection handling, you stayed calm, which was good, but you didn't push back hard enough. When they said they had a CRM, you didn't challenge that assumption. Talk to listen ratio, balanced decently, but you could have given them a bit more space after objections. Filler words, a few ums and hesitations, especially when you were trying to pivot. What worked well? First, you were upfront about it being a cold call, which built some initial trust. Second, you gave them a practical next step, even though it was tentative. Top three things to improve. First, slow down and build a bit more rapport before pitching. Second, challenge their assumptions more directly, especially on the CRM. Third, create a stronger urgency or benefit for a follow up meeting.
Jeez, man. I'm actually cooked. So, I guess I don't know why I feel like I'm being a bit too nice, maybe. Maybe like ChatGPT said before, I'm not being aggressive enough. Trying to keep pushing and keep asking questions, but I feel like if I ask too much questions then it might put them off. That's my problem. And might again, because I said 30 seconds at the start, I might eat too much into their time. That makes sense. Okay, I'm still trying to go for that 8. So let's have one more role play. Let's see how it goes. Start call. Oh, I haven't pressed it. Start call.
Hello, Bright Space Cleaners?
Hi there. I'll be honest with you. This is a cold call. Give me 30 seconds, and if it's not for you, tell me to buzz off and I'll get out of your way. Fair enough?
Yeah, all right, I've got a minute. What is it you're calling about exactly?
I appreciate it. I work with cleaning companies like yours to make sure no lead ever slips through the cracks when mid job or unavailable. Can I just ask, how do you currently handle follow ups?
Look, we already get back to people pretty quickly. We make sure calls and inquiries get followed up same day, so not sure if this is really a gap for us.
So when you say you reply quickly, how quickly is that? Is it in within minutes or an hour? How quickly is quickly for your business?
I mean, we're usually responding within an hour, sometimes even faster if it's urgent. But again, we've had a lot of calls like this before, so I'm a bit cautious.
And if I may guess, is it just you keeping on top of that, or have you got someone who helps with the admin side of it?
Yeah, it's mostly me at the moment. I handle the admin, but if I'm tied up, one of the team might step in. Why'd you ask?
I ask because with most cleaning companies, when you're out on the job and the request comes in, because you're on the job, you wouldn't have the time to reply, isn't it? So do you typically wait until you're free, or have you got a way of picking it up on the go?
To be honest, we mostly handle things once we're done on a job. If it's urgent, I do check messages between tasks, but it's a bit hit or miss. Why? Do you have something specific that could help?
I do have a system that does that, but before I get into that, since you said sometimes only when it's a bit urgent, what if you have a client who puts in at, let's say, odd hours of the night? Do you just wait till the next morning to then fill in the request? And when you're doing that, don't you think the lead might get lost because, it's late and they might just end up going to a different company instead?
Yeah, that's exactly the risk. We have lost a couple of potential clients that way. I just don't have a perfect solution yet, which is why I'm a bit cautious about any quick fixes.
So what would you say would be the best way to then prevent that loss in your own words? What would be best way to help your business?
Honestly, I think if there was a way to get alerts directly to my phone so I could respond even when I'm out on a job, then that would be the most effective. Right now, everything has to wait.
And in terms of the lead, what do you think would be the best way for them to stick around and just not go to a different company? Because, like you said, if you are busy, they might end up just going somewhere else.
I think what really helps is having a really clear automated confirmation message as soon as they reach out. So they know they're on the list, they're in line, and I'll get back to them first thing. That tends to reassure them.
Oh, that's fair enough. To be honest, that's pretty common with the cleaning companies I speak to. Their processes tend to work fine when they're on top of it, but again, if they're busy or on job, it's those gaps that tend to cause the problem because the lead thinks they're not being paid attention to.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where I feel like we could tighten up. Just making sure every inquiry, even late at night, gets some kind of instant acknowledgement so they feel we care.
That makes sense. Well, that's exactly the kind of thing my system is designed to handle. So even when you're mid job or unavailable, nothing slips through, and the leads are always notified and followed up, so they feel like they are being put on the list or they are being attended to.
Okay, I see what you mean. I'm still a bit cautious, but if you can send me an email with a clear breakdown of how it works, I'll give it a proper look when I have a bit more time.
I will send that email, and but what I would recommend is we have a 15-minute demo, so I can show you how it works, and you can see in practice how this could help you. And if it doesn't help you, again, it's just 15 minutes, so you really got nothing to lose. And if it does help you, that is a lot of money coming into your business from those leads that could have been handled better. So how does Friday at 5 p.m. work for you?
Friday at 5 p.m. might be a bit tight. I usually finish up around then. Can you just send me a link first? And if I can slot it in, I confirm by tomorrow.
I can. And when you say Friday by 5 p.m. is a bit tight, what do you mean by tight? Do you mean that you're typically on shift at that time or just wrapping up with other admin stuff?
Yeah, it's mostly wrapping up admin tasks, so I don't have a set shift, but I do need some time to close out. If you send it over, I'll see if we can make it work.
All right, I will send the link over by email. However, again, because this is something that could really potentially help your business to prevent those leads lost, I wouldn't want it to be lost somewhere where you do forget. Like, again, if you're busy right now, it could be something that you could not pay attention to at the moment. So, if I just leave, let's say, what time of day next week do you think you're more available to have a discussion or have a demo?
Let me think. Probably early next week, maybe Monday around 10 a.m. That's usually a bit quieter before the week gets fully underway. If that works, I'll confirm once I see your email.
All right, Monday at 10 a.m. sounds perfect. So we could do that at Monday 10 a.m. I'll send that through the email so you can just confirm the appointment from there. That fine?
Yeah, that's great. I'll keep an eye out for your email and I'll let you know if anything changes. Thanks for reaching out.
All right, amazing. Thanks for listening. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day.
You too. Take care. End call.
And cool.
Overall rating 6 out of 10. The call kept momentum, but there was some hesitation and a couple of missed opportunities to build urgency. Opener, it landed okay, candid and brief, but it didn't fully disarm the skepticism. You stayed factual, but could have softened the blow a bit. Tone and delivery, generally natural, though you did rush a couple of transitions. Pace was mostly fine. Diagnostic questions, they were okay, but a bit leading, especially when you asked about busy times. Let the owner talk more about their specific gaps. Transition to pitch, slightly abrupt, you could have eased in by tying it more clearly to their pain point. The pitch, it was concise but a bit generic. You could have referenced their exact situation more specifically. The close, it was low pressure but a bit passive. Give a clearer call to action or affirm a next step. Objection handling, you stayed calm, which was good, but you didn't push back strongly enough on the concerns. You could have re emphasized unique value. Talk to listen ratio, fairly balanced, though you could have let them speak even more, especially on their own processes. Minimal, just a few ums. What worked well, you kept control of the pace and you kept the owner talking about their own challenges, which was good. Also, your suggestion of a demo was a decent next step. Top three things to improve. First, make the opener even more disarming, reduce any sense of a hard sell. Second, tie the pitch more directly to their specific business pain. Third, be more assertive in booking the follow up. Don't just let it drift to I'll check my calendar.
All right. Give me a recommended answer I could have given for the opener, for the diagnostic questions, for the transition to pitch, for the pitch itself, and for the close.
Opener. Hi, this is Michael, and I promise I won't take more than 30 seconds. I work with cleaning businesses like yours to make sure no client ever falls through the cracks. Can I ask how you currently follow up with after hours leads? When you say you respond quickly, is that within an hour or does it sometimes run into the next day? And what happens if a lead comes in late at night? Do you check it immediately or does it wait until morning? Transition to pitch. I ask because a lot of cleaning companies I speak to face this same gap, and what I've got is a system that fills those gaps seamlessly. In short, my system alerts you in real time, so even mid job, you can acknowledge leads instantly. That means no potential client slips away and you stay ahead of your competition. So, if it makes sense, I'd love to show you a quick demo. Would Monday at 10 a.m. work for you? I'll send over the invite right after this call.
Bloody hell. 6 out of 10 again. This is actually a peak. Well, I don't want to say because with my prompts, I told you not to be nice to me, but I don't want to say it's been a bit too harsh with the way it's putting things out. But yeah, maybe just something I need to work on. So trying to get those value propositions put out there to them so that they don't I say get lost or go off track, and that makes sense. So yeah. Alright, that's me for now. And hey, voice crack again. Bro, what's going on? Yeah, that was me, and that's the role play with ChatGPT. Let's see if I actually do better in actual cold call scenarios.